Hello, I'm Nathan Judah. It's Friday. I'm here with Shrewsbury Town reporter Mr. Lewis Cox. Lewis, we've talked goalkeepers, we've talked defenders, we've talked midfielders. We stood up yesterday in the safe standing, talking forwards. Yep. Now it is the turn of the management. What is, what was, what's meant to be. It's been fantastic, really, to have Paul Hurst at the club. He's been a revelation. Unfortunately, they just fell short at the final hurdle of Championship football. Of course, he's not here now. But what a season. Let's look back at Paul Hurst and his tenure. I mean, quite superb, and to do what he's done with this squad, albeit they didn't quite get there, is still incredibly stunning. 19
months, took her from the bottom to the top. They were dropping out of League One at a rate of knots, going down to League Two. Who knows what could have happened then. But he halted the slide, he turned it around straight away, kept them up, and then I don't think anyone could have seen last season. The amount of times Hurst said to me, if anyone would have said that happened, you'd have been carried away in white coats. And I don't think you can underplay that. It's mental, in it, when you think what they were tipped to do.
Sure.
I don't think anyone connected with the club, or that watches them regularly, thought after he kept them up that they'd go down. I thought they'd be comfortable, but
head above water kind of thing.
But still, to be mid-table would have been a really good effort.
Sure.
So I mean, that says it all. Not the ending anyone wanted, and it was a shame how it panned out.
But to compete with the powers of Blackburn and Wigan the way until the final few games of the season, to take them to 2 Wembley finals, to be within a goal of Championship football.
Can't give them
phenomenal.
enough praise.
No.
Can't give them enough praise. The management or the players, I think. They will be remembered certainly in years to come, and in generations. They'll probably be remembered, really well. They didn't win anything, which is a massive shame, but fans will remember that one season. I'm sure they'll remember Hurst if he goes on to do other things. Some of the players go on to play at the top level. They'll remember that season, and they'll remember it ultimately as playoff. They'll remember the disappointment, but they'll remember some of the thrills of the away days here, the playoffs, semis. So many memories. 62 games. The season was just mammoth. Cup runs in more than one comp. Playoffs. Went on. They played more games than any other club in England that didn't play in Euro. I was very lucky to be able to watch it. Actually, I think the fans were lucky to experience it. They would have won a different ending.
Sure.
I was lucky to report on it, really, because 2 Wembley games.
2 Wembley games, West Ham FA Cup runs. I mean, it's just stunning, really.
Underdog story. You
might not see another season like this for 40, 50 years, and potentially longer.
Because there's more money in the game, isn't there? And it's like they went against the odds to compete with the money at the top of League One, which is massive money. Even the clubs coming up from League Two. I've just read about Luton and who they're after. They're more money than that's here. Your Charltons, your Portsmouths, your big clubs with very decent budgets that dwarf this place. So the new man, John Askey, has got a challenge on his hands to channel what worked, try and repeat it. No one's expecting 3rd place playoffs, are they? I don't think. I think if you're a Town fan expecting that, then you need to go into a dark room and have a think.
So what's the remit for Askey then? He's come in, obviously done very well in National League.
Very well.
Very, very well. Done what Paul Hurst couldn't do.
Quite.
And, but it's a big move for him as well. Expectations. What are we looking at? What we're thinking that Shrewsbury can do this season? Maybe in the next 2 or 3.
I said to him on his unveiling, they've had 3 seasons back in this division now, and the first 2 were scrapping the drop. So they had to become established as a team that weren't just living to survive. Now, obviously, I remember her saying, as a club we took far too big a jump, and they obviously had the one season of fighting at the top. That's not going to be sustained, is it? They're still at the point, for me, in my opinion, Town fans might disagree, where they're still at that established stage. Have more than one season where you're not worried about relegation, where you're an established club. Competitive doesn't have to mean competing certainly for the top 2. If you do well, you might compete for the top 6. But just competitive, where you're not just looking over your shoulder, where you're in the middle of the pack and you're always looking ahead rather than behind you. You know, that's not downplaying what they should be looking at. I'm not saying they can't look at playoffs, but it's massively unlikely. You'll hear that from the chief exec, the new manager. You know, you can't not be ambitious, but you've got to be realistic. And you know, it's still like Hurst banged that drum of 50 points all last season until they got there, and it was that's the first remit. However long it takes you to get there, it's be safe. That's what Askey said. But for me for them to have a good season, it's be established, be competitive, get a season under your belt where you're not going into April where you're worrying about the drop. You know, if they can be safe come March, you know, in a good position where you're comfortable and you can build, you know, look at if they finish 12th or above, you know, brilliant. And then can you do it the next season? Because then you're established in League One, and then you can look to build beyond that, which would be tough. But not to have, all right, we've had 2 seasons scrapping at the bottom, magnificent season, then go back to you know, because if things go wrong, bang, you're in League Two and you have to start again. You know, can Askey, should he have more than a season here if things go well? Can he build the club as a household League One name? You know, that of course they're a household name last season with all the plaudits they got, but you know, a regular, they're in this division, they're competitive, they're not going to be a team scrapping the you know, for the drop. That's a big ask, by the way, because there's a big gap between the teams that should be expected to be competing the big budgets. The middle pack last couple of seasons could easily drop into the pack at the bottom. So a big ask for him to sort of solidify Town competitively and make them not look over their shoulders. It's a huge ask, but you know, he's got a superb CV. You're looking at what he did last season. You said it there. You know, to win the. He kind of pulled off a Shrewsbury Town in the conference. He pulled off a Leicester in the Maxford Town. All right, they're not the smallest semi-pro conference team you've ever come across, but I mean, they had, I've heard, the 5th lowest budget. They were tipped for relegation. With the money in the conference, you can't look beyond that. You got to applaud that, and if he can take his successful formula and bring it here, the things that worked for him, you know, right, different levels. But he said to me, players are players. You know, Hurst transferred to Football League magnificently well. If Askey can tap into what worked for him, then fair play, something's going to go right, because he's obviously got some sort of winning formula going on.
Big summer ahead. Yeah,
he's you know, we spoke all week about a lot of key players potentially on the way, be it ones out of contract, ones that clubs might want to come and sign. Let's see what he's going to target. He's told me he's going to target a blend. He knows, you know, he's got good contacts. He's a football person. He's been at the same club for more than 3 decades. Contacts all over. Knows the lower levels that work so well for Hurst. As Hurst knew the lower levels, he does. I think I said earlier in the week, this is a pull, this club. If you're a lower league player that wants to step into Football League and do well, go on. Now, I'm not talking about the club being a stepping stone, but somewhere for players to showcase their stuff. This is a club to come to. Facilities, manager that'll give you a chance. Look at what players have done in the last year. They were given a chance. They performed at the top of League One. If you're a player down there that wants to, you know, have a chance under Askey, you come here. The training ground down the road, it was brilliant. Brilliant for this league. You know, safe standing. Of course, that's not to do with the football, but there's a lot going on here at the moment that's right. And yeah, I've heard a lot of people that are confident in the appointment of Askey. He needed a chance after what he did with Macclesfield. I think I'm right in saying that I believe he weren't getting the support he wanted after taking Macclesfield to the title. He's certainly going to get the support here. I think he's going to get supported to spend a couple of fees. You know, let's see him work the loan market, which is crucial. Let's see him try and tap into gems that he can find, that he knows about. Massive job for him. Can you imagine working somewhere for 34 years and then just changing? What a change, what a move for him, because you know, coming in daily, he's going to everything's so new to him. It's going to be strange going to a different place, different fans. He was so comfortable there. It would have been easy for him to stay. Maybe it says a lot about him and his ambition that he was, after one of his most successful seasons in 34 years, certainly as manager, he was willing to up sticks and put himself 2 divisions higher, you know, up, sort of head on the stick to follow in big footsteps. Fair play, because it's a big move for him. You know, you could say bigger move for him than the football club.
Yeah.
It's a massive era for the football club to follow in Hurst and make sure that it wasn't just a one-off fluke, but massive for Askey, because he's, you know, 52, never managed anywhere near this level, never managed anywhere else than Moss Rose, and you know, he'll be desperate to get this right and prove himself at a higher level.
Fingers crossed he does that. It's going to be a very, very interesting summer. That is the end of our seasonal reviews for the season 2017-2018. It's been an unbelievable season. Lewis, you're going to take a bit of a break now. We're going to take a bit of a break, and hopefully we'll come fit, ready and refreshed for the new season. For all the latest Salop news, make sure you log on to shropshirestart.com.